When you're riding a heavy motorcycle along the edge of the continent, the elements dictate your reality. In an instant, a dense coastal fog can roll in and swallow the road ahead, obscuring the sheer drop-offs just inches to your right. This is what Day 5 looks like on the Pacific Coast Highway through Big Sur. Visibility drops to 40 feet, the damp air coats your visor, and the only proof of the ocean below is the roar of waves crashing against unseen rocks. Navigating this blind gauntlet are Mark and Lisa. They sit bare inches apart on a loaded touring bike, leaning together into every tight curve. Yet, despite the physical proximity, they are separated by 28 years of accumulated silence. The tension in the saddle matches the tension of the cliffside. The heavy bike feels precarious with every blind turn. Then, the silence breaks. A sudden crackle over the helmet communicators delivers Lisa's voice, tight with panic, begging Mark to slow down. Being trapped together in a dangerous environment doesn't forge an automatic bond. Often, it magnifies the invisible distance between two people, isolating them even further. To understand how they arrived on this foggy precipice, you have to look back. For nearly 3 decades, Mark and Lisa did everything right. They raised 2 children, built their careers, and paid off their home. But somewhere in that long march of responsibilities, the spark that used to keep them up talking all night quietly burned out. Their daily interactions had slowly morphed into a transactional loop. An attempt to connect or share a thought was routinely met with a response about logistical details: who was paying the electric bill or what time soccer practice started. They had purchased a 2026 touring bike together the previous spring. It sat mostly idle in their garage, covered up, a heavy physical monument to the adventures they kept telling themselves they would get around to eventually. The breaking point came on a rainy Tuesday in April. Lisa walked in after work and made a desperate pitch. They needed to strip away the schedules, the kids, and the phones. 2 weeks, just the 2 of them, riding the coast. Buying the expensive gear is the easy part. Saving a connection requires actually committing to the terrifying, unstructured journey of using those tools. This map traces their route south from Northern California. For 4 days, they adhere to a strict itinerary. They hit their marks, stop at planned overlooks, and log miles. The adventure functions exactly like their stressful life back home. Which brings us back to Day 5, deep in the coastal mist. Mark is rigidly focused on maintaining their pace to reach the next destination. Lisa's grip tightens on his jacket as the visibility drops and the drop-offs loom closer. Finally, through the static of the comms, Lisa asks a single, piercing question that forces Mark to kill the engine. Where exactly are we trying to get to, Mark? A tightly packed schedule offers a convenient shield. When you are constantly moving and checking boxes, you avoid the uncomfortable vulnerability of simply being present with the person sitting behind you. They pull over near the Bixby Bridge. The engine cuts out, leaving only the sound of the unseen ocean below. Sitting on the stone guardrail, years of exhausted, pent-up frustration finally give way, and Lisa begins to cry. She tells him she feels alone. She confesses how much she misses the version of them that would have pulled over just to watch a sunset together, rather than the version that only endures the ride to meet a deadline. Mark makes a difficult, unnatural choice for a man used to managing logistics. He takes off his helmet, sets it on the ground, and suppresses his deeply ingrained instinct to fix the problem. He chooses to just sit there and listen. This animation demonstrates how proper suspension preload adjusts the bike to handle the combined weight of 2 riders. It absorbs the harsh, violent impacts of the road, creating a smooth, isolated space in the saddle above. Emotional connection requires the exact same structural buffering. For 2 hours, as the heavy fog slowly lifts off the coastline, they talk. They dissect the quiet reality of their empty house, the careers that swallowed their identities, and the habit they developed of endlessly postponing their own joy. True active listening is a mechanical halt. You have to completely stop your own forward momentum to sit patiently inside someone else's discomfort. When the sun finally breaks through the mist, Mark takes Lisa's hand. He suggests they abandon the schedule entirely and start the trip over, right from that cliffside. The philosophy shifts from doing to being. They agree that if they only make it a few miles down the coast to Morro Bay, that is perfectly acceptable. The itinerary is dead. The contrast is immediate. Instead of rushing past landmarks to stay on time, they spend hours doing nothing but sitting on a ridge, listening to the water drop into the secluded cove below. They take an entire afternoon to wander the streets of Carmel by the sea. They walk hand in hand, completely untethered from the clock, and moving at the pace of a couple with absolutely nowhere else to be. Regaining a lost connection demands a total rejection of productivity metrics. You have to step off the treadmill of efficiency and fully embrace the unstructured, winding nature of shared time. The final miles unfold under clear skies. They carve down the coastal highway toward their southern destination, moving slower and sitting closer than they have in decades. When they finally arrive and dip the front tire into the Pacific Ocean at Dana Point, the finish line of the motorcycle tour becomes the starting line for their marriage's next chapter. Today, there is a small custom plaque riveted inside the motorcycle's luggage compartment. It serves as a permanent physical reminder of the exact place and time they found each other again. A long ribbon of asphalt doesn't inherently repair a relationship. But sometimes, surviving 1,200 miles of heavy wind and sheer drops strips away the accumulated noise of modern life, leaving enough silence to finally hear each other again.